as you see at the bottom of the screen, which non-quarterback is under the most pressure to deliver in 2023, right? I'm going to go with Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. And the reason why, right, is because when you talk about Kellen Moore, the jury is still out on this guy. Is he really innovative? Is he good? Is he not? Because the Cowboys had a lot of ups and downs with Kellen Moore. There were some good things that I like. I always go back to that 2021 season where they led the league. I believe they was the best offense in 2021. Same thing with 2019, by the way. But that 2021, I saw a limitless offense, right? A buffet style offense in the sense that they gave you a lot of looks, right? They gave you the RPOs, they gave you the motions, they gave you the play actions, they gave you, the down the field shots, they gave you the running game. And that was evident from week 1 when they played my Buccaneers to open up the season kickoff. I remember that game. They came out winning RPOs, then immediately the next drive, they taking shots down the field to CeeDee Lamb for a touchdown. Like, they were so different in the sense that they didn't have a strategic game plan. The game dictated how they wanted to play. And week 2, they followed that up by running the ball 29 times between Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott against the Chargers, who we are talking about right now, running it down their throat. So I think right here with the Chargers, we do know that Justin Herbert is that dude, right? And I really feel like Kellen Moore should really bring out the best Justin Herbert we have ever seen, because I trust some of his innovative process, and basically his X's and O's is the X factor for the Chargers this season. His X's and O's. And I think having a guy with that rocket of an arm, we got to realize that Joe Lombardi was late to the party. He was holding this offense back. Your quarterback has the strongest arm, one of the strongest arms in the league. Let him rip it, right? But it was conservative, rinky-dink offense. Kellen Moore should open that up, and he doesn't have to worry about, Dak Prescott, who's going to turn the ball over. I actually think Dak Prescott is in a better situation. Why? Because they're going to be more conservative with that old school approach of running the football and play action. I think that suits him more. Over here, I think Kellen Moore suits Justin Herbert more because he can make the throws and deal with the shoulder of responsibility it is to have an offense run through you. So I think when you talk about Kellen Moore, I understand Brandon Staley get a lot of flack, especially on this show. But one thing I cannot deny is that his defensive game planning is elite, and he's going to have his defense ready to play. There were instances and examples last year where they were undermanned, they were hurt, and they came out and they played and performed well. He's going to have that unit ready. But to have a guy like Kellen Moore to run the offense, I think it will make the Chargers make or break based on his X's and O's and how he's able to get the best Herbert out of there. There's a lot of weapons. There should be no excuses. And if this offense don't take that next leap, then we are going to come back on the show and call Kellen Moore a fraud. So I'm hoping I'm not going to do that. And I'm pretty sure the Chargers are not hoping they're going to do that. And that's why he's number 1 here for me as a non-quarterback under the most pressure.
Yeah, a lot of good points there. And I'm going to go with the guy you put number 2. I have to go with Sean Payton. Like, this guy was literally brought in to save one person and one person only. I've still never seen that in my years watching the NFL. And it's funny, another guy you mentioned there, Joe Lombardi. I know that Sean Payton is going to be the guy in charge of the offense. He's going to be the one calling plays, but he is now the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. Of course, both those guys have some history with each other in New Orleans, but an interesting tidbit in the AFC West right there. I mean, when it comes to Sean Payton, man, like when he was in New Orleans, everyone told me this guy was an elite coach, a top 5 coach that is just great at getting the most out of his quarterbacks. And that's what Denver is going to be asking him to do right here. When we did our quarterback list, man, like I still think that Russell Wilson was one of the more difficult quarterbacks to rank because I have never seen a decline this quickly. Like, I understand it's 2 years ago, but again, for the first half of that year, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And going into that year, he had a good 4 or 5 year stretch, I think, where Russell Wilson was a consensus top 3 quarterback in Seattle. He always said that he wanted to play for Sean Payton. We know that Denver front office and that new ownership group, they have a ton of money. They did whatever they could to bring him in. And I know you brought up that point about how you would never trade for a head coach. And I see what you're saying. You know, the players, those are really the guys on the field that are winning games. But did Denver really have any other choice? Like, I feel like this is a move they had to make. I know they gave up a pick, but if they had any hopes for Russell Wilson to turn it around, you had to bring in a guy like Sean Payton, right? Who was by far and away the best coach available that had the best chance of turning this thing around with Russ. Because if Russ can't turn it around, there's no shot this Denver Broncos team is winning anything.
Yeah, I mean, under the circumstance, they had to make the move, but that was very, unique circumstances because of the situation. Last year was very unique and very puzzling because of Russell Wilson's very steep decline. So, it was very unorthodox, and that's why you do unorthodox things. And that would be the only example of why I would trade for a coach, is to fix the mess that we made. First of all, I wouldn't even had I won't say I wouldn't have traded for him, but I probably wouldn't. Number one, I probably wouldn't, but that's not the biggest thing here. Was the fact that they extended him upon the contract that he came to the team with. So because they did that, I wouldn't have done it. So I wouldn't have need to trade for a coach, because I would have saw the garbage I saw last year and got out of that when that contract was over, instead of adding 2 more extra years to that contract, right? But because they did it, I understand why they did that, which is trade for Sean Payton to help get Russell Wilson back to format. But I think it's going to be more like a doormat. I'm rhyming here, not intentionally, but I think the team's going to walk over these cats in the AFC West, to be honest with you. And I think Sean Payton definitely was runner-up for me because, like you said, he was brought over there to fix Russell Wilson. And we know with Sean Payton, and we talk about Joe Lombardi, I think Joe Lombardi is more served up to be under the tutelage of Sean Payton, because we know Sean Payton is one of those hands-on coaches. He's not going to have his coordinator calling plays. So he's going to be very hands-on. So he's going to directly impact, from an X's and O's perspective, the success that Russell Wilson, I'm going to say success because Russell Wilson got to do it on his own, but he's going to be the video game controlling Russell Wilson, opening up the offense to try to get him going again. Very hands-on. So it's pressure in those regards as well. So yeah, he was definitely a good option here. Like I said, he fell a little bit short. I went with Kellen Moore, but I'm not mad at you going number 1 with him.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.